What's good, YouTubers and YouTubex? This is JB Sports back again with another one. The agent of cornerback Jalen Ramsey has come out today and said that his client wants to be traded from the team. Cornerback Ramsey got into a on the sideline altercation with Doug Monroe, and it got real ugly. I think he was frustrated that the coach did not throw the red flag on a play that was very controversial, man. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins made a catch that kept the drive alive on a series of plays that ultimately led to a scoring drive by the Texans. And I think the cornerback was very upset that the coach did not challenge a particular play that maybe would have got the call overturned, and then instead the Texans would have had to punt and instead giving up points later on in that series. So I think he was very upset. They showed the replay of the play. I think it was like a 3rd and 4. Quarterback Watson threw a pass in the flat to wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. He kind of caught it. You know, the ball caught it with his chest, and the ball kind of rolled over, and he kind of cradled it with his left arm. I don't know if the ball caught a little bit of the grass or what. It was very inconclusive. I don't think they would overturn it with the replay they were showing. They had a replay showing it from DeAndre Hopkins showing his back to the ball. You know, the only reason why the camera angle was able to get to the ball a little bit was because he kind of caught it and he kind of rolled over, and the ball kind of came off his chest a little bit and rolled over to his left arm and maybe caught a little bit of the grass, or maybe didn't, or maybe he kind of secured it with his arm and elbow right there. It was very close, man, very close. And I guess Marone probably had got a look at it from one of the coaches in the coaching box, and they probably told him, "Hey, man, they're not gonna be able to overturn that, man. It's nothing conclusive about that play for the referee to overturn it." So, but anyway, man, Ramsey was livid, man, very livid, man. Went off on the coach, man. Went off on the coach. Had to be restrained by one of the assistant coaches. Kind of took a little swipe at Coach Monroe with his as he was getting pulled away. He took a little swipe with his left hand at Monroe. I think he made a little contact with Monroe. Monroe didn't appreciate that. You know, kind of followed him over there to the bench, and they exchanged some more words. The coaches kind of grabbed Monroe and kind of took him back up toward the sideline. And one of the other, what I found interesting about that little exchange, especially on the bench, was one of the players in the secondary, along with Ramsey, stood up and looked at the coach and pointed up the sideline like, "Get out of here, man. Go toward the sideline, man." And I guess he must have been in agreement that they should have challenged that call, man. And I think this is a deep-rooted problem that goes back to a couple of years ago when Jacksonville Jaguars was playing the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. They were up 10 points going into the fourth quarter, got real conservative on offense with Blake Bortles. A lot of people say, of course, wouldn't you get conservative with Blake Bortles? He's one of the bottom-feeding quarterbacks starting that year. No. Blake Bortles was actually having a good game. He was having a real good first half. Played well, was moving the ball, moving the team, putting points on the board. They should have kept that ball in his hand, man. He had the hot hand that night. Every dog has his day. You know, they had that saying, every dog has his day. That was his day. They should have kept feeding him, man. Let that boy, let him throw the ball, man. He was throwing the ball very accurately, but then all of a sudden they got conservative, started running the ball, started getting predictable on offense, and let Tom Brady work his magic and steal that game in the fourth quarter. And New England Patriots went on to a Super Bowl, and Jacksonville Jaguars was left with coulda, shoulda, woulda type of situation. And I don't think Jalen Ramsey has been enamored with the coach ever since then. You know, never mind that the defense kind of gave it up in the fourth quarter too. But I think Ramsey was saying, "Look, we carried the team all the season, carried them all this season. For once, can offense put us on their back and carry us to the Super Bowl? For once, we got y'all to this point because our defense, you know, stopping people and creating turnovers. Can y'all for once carry us and get us into the Super Bowl?" And I think that was probably Jalen Ramsey's feeling about the situation. But I think that's like a deep-rooted problem. That's the same thing that happened with the Seattle Seahawks. As Richard Sherman got into it with the offensive coordinator Bevel in a game a year or two later after they blew that Super Bowl, when they was down there on in the red zone. I think at the 1-yard line they tried to pass it, and Richard Sherman exploded on the offensive coach, and that's a defensive player. And I guess he was, and that was a deep-rooted problem because a lot of defensive players and a lot of fans at home was wondering why are you throwing the ball in a Super Bowl against the Patriots to win the Super Bowl? You at the 1-yard line. The beast mode just got through running the ball for 6-7 yards. Beast mode is beasting right now, and you take the ball out of his hands and let Russell Wilson throw the ball at the 1 yard line, he gets picked off, and then Tom Brady gets his 5th Super Bowl ring. A lot of people were mad about that, man. They were saying that they didn't want the beast mode to get the MVP. They wanted Russell to get the MVP. That's why they called that place, because beast mode was having issues with the team during that season. So that kind of reminds me of this situation with Jalen Rose. I think it goes back to the AFC Championship game. I think he felt that Doug Monroe got too conservative and cost him a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And I think he thinks Doug Monroe is not the coach that can get him to the ultimate game and win, and that's the Super Bowl, and win the Super Bowl. I don't think he really thinks he's got the aptitude, the balls, to make the critical calls or the critical plays to get this team over the hump. And I think this all stems back from a couple of years ago. And I think this was just like the icing on the cake last Sunday, man. I don't think he's a fan of Doug Monroe at all. That's why his agent has come out today asking for a trade. Now, as far as the trade goes, it'll be interesting to say. You'd have asked me about 2 or 3 years ago, will Ramsey get traded? I would have said, hell no. They don't make trades in the NFL. Maybe in the offseason they might trade him, but during the season, hell no. But the last 2 years, the trade deadline has been very active, as the NFL is kind of taking a page out of the NBA playbook as far as active trades during the trade deadline, and Major League Baseball has, they're very active during the trade deadline. So I think they know that brings a lot of publicity to the sports, gets a lot of fans excited if they bring in a particular player, a particular piece that the fans and the organization think is the missing piece for the team to contend for a Super Bowl. And I think it has changed over the next couple of years. So I do think it's a chance that Jalen Ramsey will get traded. Maybe not this week or next week, but maybe by the trade deadline. If things keep going south with him and the team, I think it's a chance that he can get traded by at least the trade deadline. Now I've heard that the team wants a first-round pick for Jalen Ramsey, but they want at least a first-round pick, but they probably want more than a first-round pick. So it's kind of like conflicting, that's conflicting messages coming from the team. You're saying on one hand, okay, they asking like, what would you want for Jalen Ramsey? You say, okay, I want a first-round pick, but that probably wouldn't be enough. I probably want more than a first-round pick. Then you don't just want a first-round pick. So that let me know that they're not serious about trading him right now. Because if they were serious, they'll be telling teams or leaking it to the media saying, look, we want 2 first-round picks for Ramsey and a second-round pick. That's what we want for him. And that, you bring that package to us, we'll trade them. But they're not saying that. They're saying that we probably, that we at least want a first-round pick, but probably want more than that. So that's kind of conflicting messaging coming from the team. So I don't think they're serious at this point. But if things continue to go south with him and the team continues to struggle, they're 0-2, have lost to the Chiefs in the first week and the Texans in the second week. If they continue to have continue to lose and maybe have a losing record, and you don't have a chance to compete in the AFC South, which is, I think it's going to be a division where the teams going to beat up on each other. I think 10 wins probably win that division, so they might be still in it, so they might want to hold on to Jalen Ramsey if they're still in it when they get toward the trade deadline. But if they're not in it, they're in last place, and they don't see a way that they can get back into the race, maybe they will consider trading Jalen Ramsey. But if you're going to do that, you need to clear your messaging up. Like I said twice in this video, clear your messaging up. Don't say, okay, we want a first-round pick for Jalen Ramsey, and then in the same breath say, but we'll probably want more than a first-round pick. Either you want a first-round pick, or you don't. You ought to be saying, first-round pick is not going to be enough for a player of this caliber. We want 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. Be clear in your messaging if you're trying to trade a player of this caliber. You look at the Texans when they traded Jadeveon Clowney, they didn't get nowhere close to a first-round pick. They traded him for a couple of players, Mingo and Clark, and a third-round pick. Man, they didn't really get anything for nearby the value for Jadeveon Clowney. He was the number 1 overall pick the year he came out. Jalen Ramsey, was a top 5 pick. I think he went number 5 right after Ezekiel Elliott. He went number 5 to to Jacksonville. So he's a high pick, and Jacksonville should want maximum value for him, because he's probably the best corner in the. Nah, I'm not gonna say he's the best corner. I think Gilmore, the New England Patriots cornerback, is probably the best corner. I think he's definitely top 3 corner in the league. You know, you still got Patrick Peterson over there in Arizona. I know he's hurt or maybe serving a suspension or whatever it is, but he's not playing right now. But he's definitely top 3 corner in the league, and Jacksonville ought to try to get max value. So we'll see how it transpires in the coming weeks and leading up to the trade deadline. I want you guys to follow me on Instagram, JBsports713, and on Twitter, JBsports the Man. Subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and hit the thumb up button or hit the thumbs down button. But just hit it, let me know what you think about this video, and keep the show going and keep the show growing. I'll holler at you guys later on. Peace.